Hi, I'm Kelly Wright. This is The Resilient Grove. This is a gathering place for honest conversations about healing, resilience, and the courage it takes to grow through life's hardest seasons. Let's take a moment before we begin. I invite you all to join us. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Make yourself comfortable, and let's get started. Okay, well, first of all, I want to acknowledge that your podcast was one of the most popular, if not the most popular. And it got me thinking that clearly people do want to talk about this kind of stuff, but maybe they're afraid, maybe they don't feel comfortable. So I'm glad that we were able to lead the way for that, for you to share your story. So we're going to keep diving deeper than where we were. But first I want to start and recognize do you remember how we felt after we did our first podcast?
Oh gosh, it was just so, like, you just want to hug, like someone else knows what I'm
and we felt open and raw and vulnerable,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And so you went into diving into baking bread, and I went to the market and got vegetables and made soup, not knowing that we were doing that, right? And so then you made a comment to me in a text, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I'm doing. And you're like, well, let me give you bread, I'll give you soup. And that's what we did. And it was for me, it was one of those moments that just like what you just said, it was just like, wow, like I feel hugged, I feel seen, I feel loved, I feel connected. It was just a beautiful moment.
It was.
Like we were both baking how we cope and put our energy into food, and we shared it with each other. I mean, how much better can that get?
Yep, and that was the first time you were over at my home, I believe.
Yeah. It was just a lovely moment. So
it was a great moment.
Okay, so let's talk about that now. So how have your views of life and afterlife changed since your brother has passed?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I guess I don't fear death as much. And I know that everybody goes through grieving, but I really know now that I'm going to see them at some point. And so it's not, I feel the loss. There's no doubt I feel the loss when someone close dies. But I quickly move to the gratefulness and quickly move to, gosh, like I'm so blessed to have this person have been in my life. And then I start to reflect on like, well, what did they give me, and what did I give them, and it validates.
Do you feel like? Did you have any, not necessarily regrets, but did you have any moments where gosh, I wish I would have said this to him when he was alive, type of thing?
No, we had quite a long time for everything to be said.
Because he had that time to prepare?
He did, and I did.
Yeah.
It was a unique experience.
It really is.
It was extremely unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really.
I had a similar experience where I wanted that with my grandfather. He was an Army vet, World War II, PTSD, just very negative, angry, just not a happy man. And when we moved him onto hospice, I thought in my head, like, okay, he knows he's dying now, right? Maybe he'll open up. Maybe he'll start talking. Maybe he'll whatever. So I decided I was going to make a pact to visit him regularly and engage in conversation. He refused to talk, refused to even acknowledge any goodness in his life, including the birth of me. He was just defiant. On the last moment before he slipped into unconsciousness, he says to me, "How did I get to this point?" I was like, that's what I was trying to do for the last 6 months, right? I just wanted you to talk. And he couldn't. And then he gets to his deathbed, and that's when he's like, what did I do? So I'm glad that you had that experience. I was hoping for that with my grandfather. So I wish that could be something that we could all just live like that every day. Like just be open and talking, because we are all going to die, right?
Yeah.
So why wait until the end to have those conversations?
Right.
So for me too, I had the same experience where death wasn't as scary as I thought it was. And watching both my grandpa and my grandma, it was more like a birth to be honest with you. I think we talked about that in our first podcast.
Yeah.
It was not as scary and painful as we all have anticipated. You know, we see death as something that's just very scary and unknown. But when you're in it, watching somebody die, it's really not that scary.
No.
At least for me, the experiences I had.
I'm wondering if it's on what role they played in your
life.
That it could probably be very scary just because you're doubting whether you can go on without them. And my presence and my strength did not come from my brother. So maybe it was easier for me to look at.
So if you feel like if somebody is more connected to that person dying, it could be a little bit more scarier?
I would think so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Which, in one sense, in thinking about what you were saying of making use of each moment, of embracing each moment is critical for all of us to do with everybody that's special in our lives. Like, don't pass up opportunities. And I think that your grandpa probably, you must have been sad, and you were sad and angry and like.
I was speechless, really.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
All I answered, I was just like, well, Grandpa, you're 91. I mean, like, you lived a long time. I didn't know what else to say. And, you know, it was in that moment where he was dying, so I didn't want to be, like, harsh. Right. But I really didn't, I didn't have the emotional maturity at that time to understand what he really, truly meant in that moment. And that's sad to me, is that, I don't know, even if I did know what he meant at that moment, he couldn't have started talking because he was literally dying.
He was passing.
Right. Yeah. So the moment was gone. And I think that's what he realized, is that the moment was gone.
But the question is, with that new understanding, is your grandfather with you with a greater connection to you?
I'm really happy you said that.
Because I really believe that it's not like life, we get one chance. I really think we're always guided.
So that was going to be the next segue into the next topic, was that.
Yeah.
I feel like both him and my grandmother are helping me because they didn't help me in life. And so now it's safe. Now they're safe to help me. Yeah. And so it's like, for me, I feel like it's like they're dropping little breadcrumbs, and I just have to keep following all these breadcrumbs and with dreams and signs and messages and visions and that kind of stuff. And I'm like trying to put a puzzle together. And sometimes I can get frustrated and just be like, why didn't you tell me when you were alive, right? I've gone through that, especially with my grandma. I was very close with her and we talked a lot. Like, why didn't you tell me all this stuff when you were alive? Because it wasn't safe. Not that I wasn't safe, it wasn't safe for her. To talk about that kind of stuff. But now she can, and she has been. Right. And so it's left with me having this conversation with you, talking about the signs and the messages that we receive. So your dad died first, right? Before your brother?
Yes.
So how many years between the two?
There were, it was at least 10 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So did you watch your dad die the way you did with your brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not for the length, I mean, we were together for about, it was an amazing story in that my father called me. Oh,
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
And he said he was going to die.
Yeah.
He was dying. He was dying from.
And you went to go visit him, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. There were many visits, but that last one, when I got that call, my dad's biggest wish was that we were all together as a family, because we're spread across the country. Yeah. And I don't know how it happened. I mean, I have to say God was so much involved in my father's passing. And I truly, truly believe that. So we were all together for a good 4 days, and we had the opportunity to view and experience and embrace each other's strengths that none of us knew we had, because we were always so far apart, and we were only in for token holiday visits or this or that. We never got to see each other as a person. And isn't that, now, I take the time to see people as people, not the tasks that we're doing.
The human who the human is.
The humanism,
Yeah.
the strengths that they offer the world. Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, we talked about your dad, your brother, my grandparents. When you have dreams and visions and messages, do you always know it's them, or is it unknown, or how does it work for you?
You know how you said they drop breadcrumbs? And I think they left this world knowing my challenges. So I guess when I'm in a really challenging environment, they show up in some way. Like,
And
yep.
you know it's your dad and your brother, or you just know it's spirit, or?
No, I think I know them.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad shows up oftentimes as an eagle.
Does he show up more than your brother?
My brother really hasn't shown up much.
That's the same for me. My grandmother showed up more than my grandpa.
Yeah.
My grandpa shows up very infrequently, but when he needs to, but she's present pretty much a lot.
Isn't that special?
Yeah. And I doubted it for a long time, and I'll get into that later, but I finally figured out it was her based on the messages I was asking and then what was happening. So, which makes sense because she was kind of my caregiver growing up anyway, so it would make sense why she's still here now.
Continues on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how it works for other people. You know, how do you know who it is?
When I feel like I'm following my dream that I might have talked a lot about with them, I can see them like watching. You know, and sometimes the one time it was my brother and my dad. And that was really cool because they hung out with me the whole time on the river. And that was very special. They were both eagles, and we all loved
you
the
told me about
water.
that story, yeah.
So we were just really connected to the water.
So when you have those moments like that, do you remember like all the details? Like, do you remember everything about it?
I remember I always have like this doubt. The first time you see the sign, it's like, nah.
That's one of my questions too.
You know, it's like, nah.
Yeah, you want to like scientifically explain like, oh, that's not possible.
Yeah,
like talk yourself out of it.
That's not possible.
Yeah.
But by the third turn, you know, when they're continuing to follow me down the river, it's like, all right, Dad, let's just enjoy this trip together. You might be in a different place, but we're all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the same for me. So on that note, how do you feel like you've developed your awareness, or how do you develop your perception, your discernment? How has that worked for you? Is it an age thing? Is it how does that work?
Could you answer that?
I can see an evolution. People I've met who have introduced me to books that I would start reading to just kind of open my mind to, oh, that is a possibility. And because I had heard stories that it was possible, but I thought it was like some supernatural thing, like, only the psychics have it, or only mediums have it, right? I didn't know that everybody has it. So for me, it was just the more I learned about it, the more I read about it, the more I felt and let myself understand it, the easier it gets.
Okay.
I'm not as doubtful anymore. I'm not as skeptical anymore. I allow it, and I think that's getting more fun. It gets more fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I just got an experience.
I'm not doing this alone.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And someone else is seeing this.
Yeah.
Someone else is experiencing it with me.
Right. And for me, it's just a fun feeling. So was there an evolution? Can you see an evolution in how you've gone through this, or have you always been?
No, I don't. I think it's just been the same the whole time. Yeah, I think it has.
So you've always been open to this?
Yeah.
Did somebody teach you this, or like how did you?
No,
You just knew it.
I just knew it. I don't know how to explain it. I just knew it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just there.
It's just there.
It's just there.
Okay.
Maybe I had a really hard time with death as a kid. I don't do funerals because So, I don't know, I was always just really curious about dying. Like, but it's not scary. Maybe I've never had a very traumatic, I've never watched anybody traumatically die.
Well, I would think every death is traumatic in a sense, right? Like you said, that's that cut of like the pain and the loss of losing somebody that's been in your life. I mean, that's traumatic.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying, to make it to a point where you would doubt or not believe in.
Right.
Huh, okay. So we both agree that love is the universal language. And love is not something that is a spoken thing. It's a feel.
It's a feel thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, when I have these dreams and visions and whatever, I get intense feelings of love. Like, just like you said, connected. I'm not alone. Like somebody's with me. Like it literally, like I viscerally feel.
You feel it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's crazy to me. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what's happening in my body right now? And I'm like, oh, somebody's with me.
Do you feel light? I feel light. I feel warmth and light.
I feel the warmth, light, like heavy light?
Like gravitational light.
Okay.
There's no such thing as gravitational light.
Yeah.
But it's like this coming together.
Okay.
Like this merging.
Yes, I could feel, now that you say that, yes, I do feel that, but I never put a word into that. Yes, I do feel very aligned and like, okay, I'm validated, like I'm on the right path, so I can like let some of that stress and that weight go.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Like it's almost like you can almost close your eyes and know you're going to get where you're going to get.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And not only know you're going there, but to like know that somebody's with you.
Yeah, and it's okay.
Gently nudging you along.
And you know you're on the right path. You don't need to doubt it. You just sort of experience the feeling of the movement. Like experience that.
Which, in a sense, kind of makes me sad, because I wish they could have freely expressed that love while they were alive. And the fact that they couldn't and didn't, it just shows to me the generational trauma of not being able to freely express love, at least in my dysfunctional family system. Like, well, I think you even talked, like you guys didn't really talk much, right?
No.
So like emotions and love weren't like something that were freely going back and forth in the family unit. Now, more than ever before.
But I think we evolve individually. I think families, generationally, we each come a little closer to love. And you need modeling for love to experience love. So each time we model more openness and more empathy and more caring, our children start to value openness, empathy, supporting, and then they transcend that to the next generation. So it gets deeper.
So we're going to be doing the same thing to our grandchildren and children when we pass on.
Not like your grandpa did.
No, but I mean, like, you know, sending our loved ones signs and like, you know, that we love them and we're just gently pushing them aside. Yeah. So, okay, I like that. So they obviously feel free to express their love now.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's going to increase. They are going to gain it, and then they're going to pass that on to their children. And I think that's the importance of connecting with people, because we need to share love so that other people can experience it. Maybe it's not with the immediate family. Maybe it's with a very special person that comes into your life.
I had a counselor that was very special to me, that not so much now, but after he first passed away, I definitely felt his presence. Yeah. And there were moments that I was like, oh, Greg's with me? Like, okay, Greg's with me, right? So it is fun like that. It doesn't have to be an actual blood relative. No. He was very, very close to me as a counselor. I had him for 10 years, so we were close in that way. Right. So yeah, that is true. So people, this is one of the questions I had, but I'm just thinking about this. The people that go to psychics and mediums, they always want to have some sort of, you know, interaction or validation that their loved one's with them. Is it because they're not in tune themselves to feel that? Like I personally, for me, I would never go to a medium because I don't really need to. I can just kind of,
Right.
generate it on my own. But
Right.
obviously mediums are extremely popular. Psychics are popular. Is it because people don't have that awareness and realize that they can do that as well? Like they feel like somebody else has to be the person that.
Are they really going, and are they really going to? I can understand them. No, I can't. I don't know. I don't think it's because they don't trust themselves.
Yes.
But my thought is, how can you trust that medium? I mean, does it then open up your eyes to?
Maybe that's it. I just thought of that as you said that.
So
maybe that medium is responsible for opening up the eyes of that person that
Right.
they're there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And maybe that's what they need on their journey, is to have somebody open their eyes to
Right.
that.
Right.
I like that. If somebody is skeptical and maybe doesn't see that this is really a part of life, is there anything that you could tell someone to say, no, this is actually real? How could you convince not even convince a skeptic, but how could you help a skeptic say, okay, I guess I could have that too?
I guess I go back to the helping the person to recognize the gifts that the person who left gave them, and then just ask them, like, have you ever been guided by them? And they can say no or yes.
I'm just even thinking, does someone even know the gifts that their loved one or whoever who has passed even offered them during life?
Maybe we just say, tell me about them.
I don't know if I could have really recognized the gifts that my grandparents gave me until after they died.
Oh, okay.
Just because I was young, I was very sheltered and naive and didn't really have a lot of, emotional intelligence at that time.
Yeah.
So I knew what I loved in each of them.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily think I ever looked at what they gave me until after they died. Which that's what leads me to believe, just be like, gosh, Grandma,
Yeah.
I just wish we could have had these conversations in life,
Yeah.
But I do it now, hoping that she's listening, gosh, I wish you could have just talked about this, before.
Yeah.
But, obviously there was reasons for all of that. So now I look back at wow, she was dropping breadcrumbs even before she died, and I just didn't know what to look for. I wasn't really eating bread back then, So it's frustrating in a sense where I wish I could go back and just have all these conversations when she was alive. But clearly not going to happen. But I know we're going to have these conversations when we talk to each other again.
Well, don't you find, though, that when you're, pondering an idea and sort of weighing it back and forth, you just sort of take a pause and listen, just listen?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, meaning
and then it would be oh, that would be something my grandmother would
do.
Would do.
Yes. Yeah.
And, oh, she did that, pass that on to me because I came up with it. And then you go, well, did I come up with it? Or
basically, to answer the question about how to convince a skeptic is you have to start having these conversations with yourself.
Yeah.
Reflecting back on the person, what they taught you, what they, how they would be guiding you beyond, and then you can start to see it and make sense of it.
Right.
And it's not something that I can say that for you, you may have just felt it. It wasn't that way for me. It was a skill that I had to kind of hone and practice and get more awareness each time. Not more awareness, more trusting. Instead of doubting myself and trying to scientifically rationalize it all, just accepting that it's a sign.
Trust.
Yeah.
That's the word. Trust.
Yeah. So
trust in yourself.
that has been my journey of trusting myself, because I've had, like I said, people have weaponized my spirituality. And when I was in the court case with my ex-husband, they pretty much, it was like a witch trial. They tried to make me seem like I was some clairvoyant medium that could predict the future. And this is all on court record too, public record. And I finally said to these people, all men, you have these gifts too. It's not like I'm any different than you, but they made it seem like I was some sort of anomaly, and I'm this witch sitting here that I could predict the future and I know what's going to happen. Right. And I'm looking at you and I'm like, you have the same thing too. But they didn't understand that, at least the one specifically that asked me that.
Well, that was, I mean, this topic now is pretty popular.
I don't know if it's popular. Do you think it's popular with the older men? Especially lawyers?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? I don't know, the way people surf with podcasts, who knows? Maybe, them just tuning to a podcast that says, is there an afterlife, and can people hear? And maybe that sparks their personality.
I feel like they want to believe it.
Curiosity.
So
they'll listen.
Yeah.
But when doctors start reporting it and there's more
scientific,
it's scientific. Yeah. That I think then you'll get your non-believers, and it is something from my understanding, it is something that people can develop. We've just not. Some people do try to develop it, and other people don't.
Right, and for me, yes. Why do you think that? And let's just use my court example. Why do you think it made these men feel so uncomfortable that I have this awareness?
Because they don't know about it, and they like to know everything, I would think.
So it was something that they couldn't reason, they couldn't understand it, so then they just had to kind of attack it.
Right, isn't that what people do?
You're right, they do. If they don't understand it, they attack it.
I mean,
yeah.
You don't understand it, you start calling it names.
But it is a skill that every human possesses.
They do.
Right. So it's just a matter of where you want to put your intention and your energy, and
it helps you relax in life more.
I agree. I agree.
You just sort of.
And for me, post-fire, it's gotten more clear. So I think the fire for me was that defining moment of like, I have got to start paying attention. This was like a huge wake-up call for me.
Right.
And so my life has gotten less stressful because I'm so aware that I'm not alone. And I'm having so many experiences that it's just impossible for me to feel hopeless and helpless. And I just feel like giddy and excited, and like every night I go to sleep, I can't wait because I don't, I just want to see what's going to come through,
And when you wake up, it's like, what's special going to happen today? Who am I going to bump into?
Right, exactly.
And your eyes are open. I mean, you walk into that store, you walk wherever.
Yeah.
And you're looking at people.
Yeah.
I think that's the piece we need to.
And even you, like even this, like I don't have these conversations with people typically because for many reasons, I don't really have a safe person that I can tell these kind of stories to. So it wasn't until you opened up about your brother, I was sitting at the desk and you told me about your brother. Like, we didn't really even know each other back then, right?
No.
And we've developed this connection now, and I feel safe to talk about this. And now we're doing a freaking podcast, and I'm on camera talking about this. So I want to give you credit for that. Like, thank you for just being someone safe that I can share these stories with. And maybe that's why I'm having so much fun now, is because I can really truly trust that this is all real, because you're having the same experiences I am.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people out there, aren't there?
And then we just line up, and you have to have your eyes open. Like, my eyes were open, and I'm like, oh, Karyn, okay.
Yeah.
It just kind of like you took a little spot in my head, and I couldn't.
Kept throwing you books of, have you read this? Have you read that?
In the podcast that you send me, yes. Okay, so let's share some memorable experiences that you've had. Anything you want to talk about? You told the story about the eagle. Is there another one that you have that you want to share?
This is a weird story. So this is when my dad was passing.
Okay.
And then just passed. So I knew we weren't alone, because when my dad passed, as soon as my dad passed, my mom's best friend drove up. They had a very, very long driveway up the mountain. As soon as my dad passed, my mom's friend came up to be with her. Every time, and then I knew my dad was helping us once he passed, because we were going to the funeral home to get things together. And my mom's family, her 3 sisters, 2 brother-in-laws, and 5 people, just drove into this little mountain town and called my son, who was still at the house. And they said, well, where's Joan? We're coming to see your dad. And he told them, Dad had passed, because they just started driving. But they just get into town, they stop at this light, and my uncle says, and my son didn't know what funeral home either, because we weren't from there. He just knew we were at a funeral home. My uncle stopped and opened the window and says, what funeral homes? There were 2 in the town, and they went directly to there. And at the time they walked in the door, the funeral person came to let my mom know that we could view Dad, but she could not have done that alone. So my dad was like guiding us to
all be together.
To all be together. I mean, you think about it, his goal was for the family to be together, and for the family in my mom's perspective, was her sisters.
Okay.
So
they all showed up at the exact moment, then they showed up at the right place.
I'm talking, the funeral director he just opened the door, and my heart dropped, because I don't do anything funeral-wise. So, because I thought my dad's being cremated. Seeing a dead body for me is, I don't do that. And I thought being cremation, I just thought, okay. But he came in and he said, we're going to view the body. And at the same time, 5 people show up.
Huh.
5 people.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Did you feel it in that moment?
Oh gosh, yes.
Really?
At that point, because Dad was brought out from the, and here is where the other story comes in. So when Dad was picked up, his body was picked up, I pulled Louis Armstrong's "It's a Wonderful World," and I just blared the music as Dad's body is being brought out of the house. I think the guys must have thought I was nuts, but I thought, Dad, this is your most beautiful song. You need to have music when you go out of your home. That song has come up every time I've been in one of my lowest times.
Oh, it
plays on the music.
Yeah.
On the radio or in it, whatever.
Yeah. I have those same experiences. And now that you tell that story, my grandparents did the same thing. They brought us together right when they were dying.
Yep.
And they weren't dying. Yes, my grandpa was on hospice and my grandma was ill, but they weren't actively dying. And my parents are down in Florida, I'm up in Ohio, and my dad gets a feeling. And he's like, we got to get up to Ohio.
So he was feeling it.
Yes. And this isn't even his parents. This is my mother's parents.
Okay.
So they literally drove nonstop from Florida up here. And then the VA called me and said, your grandpa's dying. And I just was able to drop everything and go and be with him. And he didn't want to die alone. And we were all able to meet in that moment. And then it happened again the next year. My parents are back down in Florida. My dad gets the feeling that my grandma's sick. So they drive all the way up here. And he calls me and he says, hey, she's not sick, but I have a feeling. He's like, it's up to you if you want to come up here. And sure as shit, she died that night. And we were all able to be there.
I believe that here's my belief, we may be, when we die, I think we're given a time almost like last wishes, the communication is the strongest then, and that we can
pull,
tie up ends that we want to tie up.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
that's how I felt. That's exactly how I felt with
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
With both of them. And I had hoped that that would set like an example for my parents, but then after that, we cut off contact and we haven't spoken since.
Yeah.
And to me, it made me more spiritual, and I think it might have freaked them out. And so they just cut contact.
yeah, that had to be sad because you felt like we've had this.
Yes.
We've had this.
We had this major, yes, not only last year with Grandpa.
we could have moved
Yes.
together.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and see, for me with my brother's kids, I think it was just we're connected now. Mm-hmm. You know.
More so since he's passed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even yeah. I see them as they're very strong, and I see their strengths now.
I had a situation like that. This is now probably 6 years after my grandmother died. Again, I don't talk to anybody in the family, and my cousin just messaged me one day and said, hey, I had a dream about me, you, and Grandma. And then that brought all of them back into my life, my cousins, my uncle. And I thought, wow, she's trying. They're
Right.
trying so hard to bring us all together.
Right.
But nobody feels the way I feel. Like they're not viewing that as a way of this is what Grandma and Grandpa are trying to get us together.
They'll just enjoy being together. Just enjoy that.
They don't want to.
They don't want to be together.
No.
Oh.
Mm-mm. It, the family generational trauma, dysfunction, everybody
Yeah.
just kind of wants to separate and not be a family.
Not want to
and
be
I can see that
reminded
my
of what it
grandparents,
was.
yeah.
They see history when they see your face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They see
So my
history.
grandparents are trying from beyond to try to bring everybody together,
Right.
and it's just not working. At least, I shouldn't say it's not working right now. It's just not working. But for me, I'm loving this. I'm, enjoying like the messages and the visions and the dreams, and so I feel very grateful that, I'm getting that. I feel like we're heading down to that path where we'll all connect and
Right.
we'll all reunite, but right now it's not working that way.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So do you want to think about any other experiences? I'll tell you one.
Oh.
Can I tell you one?
Yeah, please.
So this was years ago. I was I shouldn't say just getting into it, but I was starting to be more aware that someone was with me, but I didn't know who it was. And so I was driving home from a friend's house, and we had been talking about that all night. And I was just like, gosh, who is with me? And I'm driving home, and I look up at the sky, and I'm like, Grandma, is it you? And forget all about it, right? And I get home, and as soon as I open up the door, I just had this feeling. I was just like, somebody was here. So I'm like looking all around, and then I see a couple things knocked off of my mantle. So I was like, So I call a friend, and I was like, oh my God, you're never gonna believe this. Like, this is what I was saying on the drive home, and then like all this stuff is knocked over.
Right.
I had her watch. After she died, I took their watches, and you mentioned earlier about how they watch us, right? So I had taken their watch, and I had their watches on the mantle, and her watch was on the ground.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, got it. It's you, Grandma. Duh. I should have figured that out, right? So I just picked up the watch. I put all the stuff that was on the ground. I had like a mother plaque. She had knocked that over. A family plaque. She had knocked that over. So I picked the watch up and I put it back up on the mantle. And then the next day, I was, thinking about the whole situation, and I was just like, something about that watch made me go
Right,
back to it. So I go back to it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't think anything, right? And then all of a sudden, I don't even really know, it was some sort of message or whatever, but it was like the battery was missing. And so I look and I see just a little tiny like lift and where you would like lift up the little thing. And you need a tool to lift that up to replace the battery. And I was like, oh, there's no battery in here. So I'm like looking all around the floor where the watch had fallen, right? I don't see anything. So I now start, making a bigger area. The battery was all the way on the other side of the room. So I was like, okay. So for days, I took that watch on top of the mantle. And I kept
Doubting Thomas.
dropping it.
Yeah.
It's on carpet, right? So
right.
every time I dropped that watch, it did not split and the battery didn't fly. Nothing happened because it was dropping on carpet.
So was the battery where there was carpet, or was the battery
where it was carpet.
It was still.
So like the mantle was right here, the watch was down here, the battery was like where that camera is.
Wow.
Yeah. And so for me, it felt like that was her message, like slapping me in the face. Like, it's me, it's me. So now I know. And sometimes not sometimes, often, I even see a group of women, and I feel like it's because she had a sister, her daughter died, her mother, like, I feel like it's them, because they're all like kind of in a circle. So I feel like the female presence a lot too.
Oh, this is creepy. So when you did this, so my son reconnected. He was going to be in an area that one of my cousins, who I haven't connected with for 20 years, and he said, oh, I messaged, so-and-so, we're going to get together and go hiking. And I went, oh, okay. They only met once. Mm-hmm. So he said, do you want to give her anything? And I'm like, what can I do? Can I send my bread or da-da-da? And I'm thinking, none of that feels right. And it hit me so strongly it was 5 women, like, doing what you just did.
In a circle, yeah.
Like they're all connected.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this shirt has to go to, it was my mom's that was given to, it was hers. And I just had put it was from her belongings, and I just put it, and I said, I need to give this to somebody, and do I give it away? And it was like, I don't know what I need to do with this, but I need to keep this. I need to keep this T-shirt. Anyway, when my son asked me, do I want to give her anything, and I wrote the letter, and I was like, and all of a sudden it came to me. It was like, this was a gift that was given by my cousin's mom to my mom. I don't have no idea when, because we're all in different parts of the country, but I had such a strong feeling like this needs to go to my cousin, because, and it was about women. It was just the power of women and the power of love. She's a Buddhist. She's a very strong Buddhist. And when she received that, she was like, I just felt like it needed to come to me.
Wow.
And it was, so I
Do you know who those women were? Do you, your mom, like, do you know who they were, the group of women?
Well, my mom was one of 5 girls.
Oh, okay.
And so this was a picture of 5. And they weren't there was no faces to them. It was just.
No, same.
But when you did that, it was like, oh.
I've had several experiences where I see like a group of, and I don't even know why I do this, because I just see like they're in a circle, right? There's no faces. I've seen white robes before. I've seen white shoes before.
Circles is like when I feel my presence when we're doing yoga, and we're at the very end, and we just sort of rest. Oftentimes, I feel like I'm in that circle.
Really?
And certain family people will come into that circle.
I wonder, it's got to be like our energy circle or something.
Yeah. It's warmth.
Yeah.
It's like, and there's no faces to it, but I know who they are. But I know I know they're there.
Yeah. I've seen faces in dreams, but not in the, like, when my eyes are open. I don't see faces. It's just the white. Yeah. Okay, you want to share a story?
So here's the sign close to 1 year from when my father passed, and we're celebrating my mom's 81st birthday. And once again, goodness knows how we all got together, but once again, we got all together, my 2 brothers and I, and his wife. And there were other people as well that came from mom's friends. So we're celebrating her birthday, and we're in this room, sitting there, and all of a sudden the smell of flowers, like the same, and I've learned later it's the lily of the valley, but it wasn't the time when lily of the valley was anywhere around, it wasn't growing at that time. And I looked at my sister-in-law, because when my father was passing, the aroma of lily of the valley came in.
You told me that.
Yeah, so think of this. So that happened when he was passing. 1 year passed. We're all gathered together. And it would be, my mom probably was really missing my father, because he
wanted to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
And he showed up. And
Did anybody else smell it?
Yes, my sister-in-law did.
Shut up.
I looked at her and I went, I did sort of I didn't point to my nose, but and she went,
oh, wow.
yeah,
Oh, I just got the chills.
Yep, yep. So my father sometimes he had a really good smeller.
So did he have a connection with that flower, or like what about that flower?
I have no idea about that, other than he was just, he just had a great sense of smell. I mean, that was just one of his gifts he had, and it was just, it's so bizarre.
So that's interesting. He's using his gift of smell beyond to communicate with you guys.
Yeah. And
wow.
That was like, and it was like, oh, this is really cool. Dad's here.
Yeah.
He's celebrating the birthday. He's here.
Of course he would be, right?
Of course
Did you end up telling your mom?
It was so, huh?
Did you tell your mom?
No. Nope, did not.
Huh.
Did not. She was, that's another story.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so one last story. So this is one I just told you recently about the lights. Okay. This just happened, 2 weeks ago? So in 2019, I was here with a private client. We were the only two people in the studio, and he was telling me about how his mom and his aunt had passed, and they were sending him signs, and it was at that time of my life I wasn't really like not into it, really. I didn't really understand it. And so as we were sitting here practicing, the lights blinked 3 times, and he was just like, see, this is what they do to me. And I was just like, what does that mean? Like, they're communicating with the lights? This is what they do. They blink lights. And so from that moment on, I was like, oh, I want that to happen to me. So every time I come here, I would look at the lights and I'd be like, okay, you can blink 3 times. I want to experience that too. Never happened. So a couple weeks ago, I'm in the middle of journaling and writing, and the lights blinked 3 times. And I didn't even think of it because I was so engrossed in the writing, but subconsciously, I counted. I went 1, 2, 3. And so didn't think anything of it. And then a few moments later, it did it again. And then I'm typing, and all of a sudden, I went like that. I was like, is somebody here? And the lights blinked 3 times again.
Oh.
And I felt like somebody was hugging me. I felt like somebody, like that warmth,
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, somebody's here. And then I literally start looking around, waiting for somebody to just walk in,
Right.
I was gonna see my grandma or my grandpa or whoever was with me. And I was just like, oh my God. I've never had that moment. It's always after the fact that I figured it out, right? I've never felt the moment in the moment. And so I just sat there hugging whoever was hugging me. I was hugging back, and I was just and then I started, I'm like, oh my God, I just had the greatest experience. I just sat there for 10 minutes and just felt like whoever was hugging me, and it was just so lovely.
You stayed in the warmth.
And the lights never flicked on again. And so now I'm back at home. Every time I turn the light on, I was like, okay, you can blink 3 times. But I finally had my 3 blinkers.
3 blinkers.
Yeah. But it was the hug. It was the warmth. I don't even know. It just, it literally felt like somebody was hugging me, but I didn't feel the physical hug of it, right?
No, you feel like you're in a center. You're in warmth.
Yes.
It's like swirling around you.
And then I just kind of hugged myself to be in it too. It was a lovely, lovely, lovely moment. And so it just makes me excited to what's next? What am I going to experience next?
Well, wouldn't that be something that they were saying you're on the right path?
Yes. Oh, I did. And it's especially because what I was writing about was a lot of the family stuff. So I really felt validated and seen and okay, I am allowed to use my voice. I am allowed to talk about this stuff. They're here literally hugging me and cheering me on. Yeah. It was just a beautiful, beautiful moment. So, all right.
You're blessed.
We all are. We all are. I wish everybody could feel this, So thank you, seriously, again, for being that safe person that we can talk about this, because it's something that's really exciting for me to talk about, and not everybody can understand it. So I appreciate you
It'll come
a lot.
Yeah, well, we just keep sharing when we feel it's right.
Yeah.
When I walked up to you, it's like, it's right.
Yeah.
It's right. I need to share this. I need to pass this on.
Yeah. Yeah, you are that type of person. You want to share everything that you got.
On occasion, yeah.
I am too. Whatever works for us is we want everybody to feel this way, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, Karyn.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And thank you for everybody who's with us, right?
You got it.
All right.